So you're considering whether or not you should buy or rent. Oftentimes people turn towards rent for the following reasons. Number one, lower monthly costs. While this might be true, if you consider the fact that rent goes up 5% year over year, yeah, you might start out with lower monthly costs. But if you compare the two, buying versus renting, at some point there is going to be a break even, and that rent will start to exceed what you would be paying in your 30-year fixed mortgage. Because when you buy, your payment is fixed for 30 years. You even have opportunities to lower that, versus rent is on a continual upward climb. And number two, a common reason is less commitment or feeling unsure about where you're going to be in the near future. So people oftentimes resort to rent. The reality is, even if you buy, you have multiple exit strategies. One, you can sell. Two, you can easily convert it into a rental, put a tenant in there. Now you've got an asset in your portfolio that's going to appreciate. And you can even use the rental income from the vacating residence to help you qualify for a new home if you end up moving to another area and or state. And number three, there's no initial investment requirement or large upfront deposit when you decide to rent outside of your security deposit, which may seem attractive, but a lot of people don't realize there are programs that require as little as no money down. But what you also have to realize is when you buy, it's actually an investment. And of course, when you're actually going to be yielding a return, you're going to need to invest a little money up front. I would say the net benefit versus buying and putting that investment up front far exceeds the little to no cost when renting, especially because you can do the same thing with no money down programs when you buy. And number four, a lot of people are attracted to the fact that you have no maintenance responsibility if you are a renter. Now here's the reality. I've been a homeowner for the last 5 years. I know a lot of other people who have been homeowners as well. I can personally count on one hand how many times I've had huge maintenance issues when I've owned my homes. So the fact is that might be an issue you might need to address as a homeowner, but it doesn't come up as often as the media or I guess fearmongers may make it seem. And for the most part, your basic wear and tear items aren't going to cost too much out of pocket. The biggest items are going to be your roof expenses or your HVAC. And for the most part, if you're buying the right house, most of those have a long shelf life to where you might even sell the property before that even becomes an issue. And the last one I commonly hear is the fact that renters don't have to pay any property taxes, which is true and valid. But most renters don't have any tax deductions to even exceed the standard deduction that they get from the government. And what people don't realize is when you own your primary residence, all that interest you pay on your mortgage is a tax deduction. So yes, you might pay property taxes, but you now also have a tax deduction, which reduces your bill to Uncle Sam. The fact is, there probably are some cases where it might make sense to rent, but it's very few and much fewer than people think. With all the benefits and exit strategies that you have when owning, most of the time it makes sense to take that risk and own. There's a reason why 90% of millionaires are built primarily through real estate. And I'll leave you with this. If you're still trying to decide, there's a reason why homeowners have 40 times greater net worth on average than renters. So when you consider all that, you tell me which one's better.